Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's What's Up Wednesday interview series. Today, I'm joined by David Secunda and Kanitha Snow of Energize Colorado Childcare Initiative, who will be going over their budget template and how that can be used for both homes and centers and a little bit about the initiative in itself. So hello to you both, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Great to be here.
Hi, Milana. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Hey. All right. So kick us off today by just giving us some background on your roles and just the overall mission of Energize Colorado.
Yeah, so I have served at Energize Colorado as a volunteer for the past year or so. So we were spun up at the beginning of COVID to support small businesses throughout the state in becoming more resilient, especially during circumstances like this COVID-19 pandemic. And our goal is to be here long after for any future socioeconomic things that may arise. So I currently serve as our Director of Strategic Partnerships and Marketing. And it's been a ride to be here and to support all of the childcare providers throughout the state during this incredibly just difficult time.
Yeah, absolutely. Great background. Go ahead.
I too jumped in as a volunteer. I ended up really focusing on the childcare initiative, looking at the childcare industry in the state of Colorado as an unfortunate industry in crisis, given everything that was happening with the pandemic. And so I focused my time on really what could be of support to childcare providers to create some additional stability in their businesses.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, appreciative of your time. And we're excited to if this is just the start for something new for both of our organizations. That's awesome. So break it down just for a bit for us here, for those who may completely be unaware of the models that you have created. Why were those budget models created for both the homes and the centers?
Yeah, so let me start there. We began by doing a lot of listening sessions with childcare homes and centers to really understand the moving pieces of what was working, what wasn't, what the challenges were. We found that about 40% of childcare homes and about 30% of childcare centers really didn't have any kind of a financial model or a budget that would inform, most importantly, pricing, so that they could really understand at the end of the day, what's going to drop to the bottom line. Are they able to be a sustainable organization, which is all of our job, when it really comes down to it. And so those organizations tended to set pricing by looking at their neighbors, like what are other people in my community charging here, and what's the way on as something that could move
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that kind of, especially during COVID, during the quarantine, like that, the budget for particularly here at Energize.
As you indicated, there are two different models. One to answer questions like, can I continue to charge the same amount that I have for the full year, given the unfolding of staffing challenges and the raises that I'm having to provide to the folks who are working for me? And these are the questions that can be really answered in that budget process overall. It also allows you to build in or to add in those one-time things that might be coming your way. That are important to recognize to kind of understand if you're going to make it through the year. But when we're putting together these models, and something that's not always contemplated is there's really two types of revenue. There's those things that are going to continue on an ongoing basis, and that might be the fees that parents are paying, your CCAP fees, reimbursements on food, those sorts of things that are going to continue
regular,
your operations. And then there's some one-time support that's coming in due to the pandemic. And a lot of times providers kind of conflate these two things together. And so they see these one-time things and almost forget to pull those out when making sure they're creating a sustainable model that after those grants are spent out, you can still have a childcare program that's continuing to provide services. That is specifically what these models are for, is to get to those ongoing operating costs that you have and to potentially adjust those as things are changing, as lease rates, as what you're paying your folks are changing, et cetera. It's one of the reasons for both of those models, we did things like build in what a living wage is. And that's a new term to a lot of providers. It's been talked about for a while, but every county, every region has a living wage. It's not minimum wage, it's a living wage. It's the minimum hourly rate to be considered adequate, in different circumstances, as a survivable wage. And overall, as an industry, we're really working towards paying a living wage and above. So that wage calculator is built in and different things like that.
Perfect. Yeah. Adding in that fact that they need to take out the one-time funding or grants or anything like that they're receiving makes a huge difference. They truly need to remember that. So that's awesome. So I'll include the Vroom modules that you have for both of those that we're talking about, but how does that budget tool model work, and kind of what are those benefits it can bring to providers who may not be using anything like this at all right now?
You bet. So first of all, they're made to be super simple. Okay, they're made for the providers that we know have a million things going. There's not a lot of time with built-in automation. There's a lot more complexity we could have done, but we've tried to really keep them simple. So when you follow those links, what you're going to get, first of all, is a 5-minute video. Like, here's the model, here's the link down below, here's how to use it. This is what you can fill in, and here's what your prices can be. And it's just going to give you the all encompassing, like 1, 2, 3, here's how to use this model overall. I think the other thing that's important to know is if you need additional help, that you can reach out to your childcare councils or to Energize Colorado to get somebody to work with you on this model. So if you download the model and you're like, yeah, I don't totally understand it, Energize Colorado has an option for acquiring a mentor to work with you on it. And the childcare councils across the state are also good resources for that. And there are other resources as well, but we want you to feel well taken care of if you don't understand how to use the model.
Supported. Absolutely. That's huge. You can't just give them the technology. They got to support it as well. Absolutely. We here at ELV definitely understand that. So as we are kind of into the new year now, a little bit ways in, how often do you recommend a provider update or reevaluate these questions or the module itself as their business kind of grows as time goes on?
Yeah, so it's a great question. Let me come back to your overall job as a childcare provider. Okay, of course it is to provide the incredible quality of care that you do as a caring person and a heartfelt provider. Obviously, that is of critical import, but it is also very important to create a sustainable business, and childcare is a business. And you are creating a resource that parents are depending on, and it's your responsibility to create, to the best of your ability, if you can, a business that is going to be there for years to come. And that means a business that's going to take care of your financial needs, your employees, and continue to provide the critical resource of providing childcare to Colorado parents. So with those in mind, at a minimum, it's important to look at the model every single year. So going into a new year or kind of wrapping up your last year, things do change. I mean, we know in this last year, just compensation has had a huge increase overall across many, many industries. We can't hire people for what we used to be able to hire them. So going into the new year is a great time to go in and look at those assumptions. Look at those assumptions that you had from the previous year of what you were paying people, how many CCAP kids you thought you were going to have versus how many you actually had, and the fees that you were providing. You can put in your actuals and kind of really see where things end up. So at the minimum, once a year, I recommend doing it in the fall or at a point in time when you, some folks do it every summer if they're using annual pricing starting in the fall to try and kind of align parents with. But whenever it is that you can influence your pricing, you want to be a couple months ahead of that in looking at your model in general. And then if things get rocky, month to month,
right, more frequent, yeah.
really, yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever it needs done, do it. Yeah, absolutely. Kind of address the problem as they come up. Awesome. So as they do kind of get into this, get their hands wet, get their feet wet, and learning how to use this specifically for their one-off basis, case by case, where can they go to learn more about this or ask questions if anything does come up with that?
Kanitha, let me hand that to you to talk a little bit about what might be available through Energize Colorado, both for this and maybe some other resources for childcare providers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the team at Energize has pulled together, first of all, in May, the childcare team at Energize surveyed childcare providers throughout the state to find out what you all wanted to learn and what you felt like you would most benefit from. So we developed some other resources similar to the budget template that speak to other areas of need. So that includes marketing and enrollment support. That also includes tackling navigating quality ratings and licensing challenges. So what I would encourage all of you to do is visit energizecolorado.com, indicate that you are a child care provider, and you'll see curated resources that are specific to the child care industry and your needs. And oftentimes what you'll also find is we're pointing you to other organizations who can support you. So that includes ECLA, that includes who to talk to if you have specific licensing challenges, because we know that it's hard to find information too. And so we're trying to help improve that communications climate. So that would be my advice there. And then Energize Colorado also has programming down the road. So I would say we're looking at spring quarter or so for our launch of our second childcare innovation intensive. So we launched that this past fall, and what that is an intensive program which is 12 weeks long. It includes a stipend and a curriculum for 10 childcare providers throughout the state. So this is statewide, and the goal is to use the cohort model so that the providers, you can benefit from learning together and from tackling big questions together and from holding one another accountable. And these are facilitator led, and we just had great results from our pilot. And so we're so excited to launch our second cohort. So more to come on that. And I'll make sure to share an article that covers more on what that was like.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's huge. Thanks for that plug. That's really cool. All right. Well, that's all I have question-wise based on the budget tool. So I'll just open it up here to both of you. If there's any other final thoughts, updates, feedback regarding Energize Colorado, the budget tools, or just in general up to the industry during this time of being resilient and kind of prepared as anything kind of gets thrown their way.
I mean, my concluding thought would be just to remind all of the listeners, as childcare providers, you are business owners, you're business facilitators, and I know you already have an extremely full plate, and so it's hard to allocate enough time to take a look at these things that might be more strategic than the question of, are you going to have cleaning supplies tomorrow? Really important to allocate some strategic time for you to get and take a look at your business, as well as operate your business and have that perspective in order to create the sustainability to be around for the long run. That's what we're rooting for, and that's what you can count on Energize Colorado's support for.
And the last piece I wanted to reiterate is that we do have mentors on hand. This is free business guidance who are available to answer any questions you have. It could be a one-on-one interaction. It could be a longer term relationship if that's what you're looking for. But these are experts both in childcare and across various industries. So if you're looking for marketing support or general leadership coaching, we've got a large pool of folks available who are ready to support you. So I would encourage you to visit our website. Again, go to the childcare page. And if anyone has questions, feel free to reach out to me. I can share out my email, and I'll just say it live here so everyone has it. It's kanitha.snow. So it's KANITHA.SNOW at energizecolorado.com. and we'd love to support you.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. I'll be sure and include all the social links and the links that we mentioned here today and emails as well. But that's all I've got for you. Thank you both so much, and we'll see everyone next time. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.